All right, so hi, I'm Megan Guidi.
Hey, I'm Adam, everybody. Happy morning. Almost to lunch, you've made it.
And we both have a lot of different roles. We are consultants, we are members of faculty here at CMU, but in addition to that, we're also really excited to talk to you about a project that we've been working on around this topic. So I'm interested if you would go to this QR code.
Or Slido.com.
Or Slido.com.
Dealer's choice. But you have to take action. This is your excuse to pretend that even if you're just multitasking, to raise your phone up and sneak that Slack message in, or Teams in the case of this audience.
Awesome. I see a lot of phones going up. Yay.
Okay,
Thank
now
you.
we can tell if you're cheaters. This is a professor hack here. In the top left, we know if you're naughty or nice.
All right. 6. Ooh, our number's going up. Yay. Awesome.
All right, we see some peer pressure happening. Not as much expression with emojis.
Risk.
We can see generationally where we land here.
Money.
All right.
Okay. Pretty good.
All right, so what are we seeing, Megan?
Risk and money. We sort of suspected that these two would come up. Now, I'm going to show you my favorite definition, right? I love this definition of venture, right? This is not necessarily, although some of us hit on risk, right? This is not necessarily how we think of venture inside of our companies, but this one gets me really excited, right?
See, I don't know, Megan. When I think about risk, I think about all these heroes that get out there and claim really, really big things. But, you know, there's a downside from time to time here. See, I'm not sure anyone has any money left after we attempt to do 1,000 tests with a single drop of blood. And I'm pretty sure no one in the Bahamas has seen this person anywhere in at least the last 10 days for what's going on. So there is a little bit of this juxtaposition forming of, well, where is risk-taking and how does it fit?
Yes, okay. So you have convinced me that we have some danger in our corporate environments around big ideas. But we are really interested in asking this question, right? Can you all proceed, especially in the face of danger? Or in other words, can you do venture? Spoiler alert. We think you can. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why. So this is a paradox called the Information-Action Paradox. I did not come up with this on my own, but this is something that's floating around out there. So if you imagine the x-axis is time, and something big happens over there where 0 is, right? Some new thing happens. And over time, we gain lots and lots and lots of information about that thing.
Oh, so I know this one. This is up and to the right.
Yeah.
I'm really good at this.
This is up and to the right, exactly. All right, so what also happens is that the freedom to take action on that thing also happens way out there at the beginning of time, right? Because inside of a company, if we're doing lots of different things like talking to stakeholders, assessing the market, understanding the risk, et cetera, over time, while there's lots and lots of information being created, our freedom to act actually decreases, right? And so where companies are typically comfortable acting is way over here, right? It's in the high burden of proof zone. We need a lot of information to take action. And of course, the alternative to that is where entrepreneurs are comfortable acting is way over here, in the low burden of proof zone.
Okay, see, I know this one as well as a consultant. See, my first answer was up and to the right, and now Megan said 1 and I said 10, so I imagine we're going to be right here in the middle.
Yeah, wrong. No, I think we can push people a little further, right? I think we can really start to work out here in the low burden of proof zone, okay? And you don't have to take it from me, right? You can take it from this guy. We all know this guy, right? Hi, Sean. So a few years ago, Sean wrote a great Medium article. I would encourage you all to read it. And he says, I can actually not agree that there is no such thing as the corporate entrepreneur. I've met too many of them over the last couple of years, helping start Carnegie Mellon's Corporate Startup Lab. Many of you are probably in this room today, right? So with that, I want to talk to you a little bit about who those corporate entrepreneurs might be. So this is one of the patterns that Adam and I have noticed that we're kind of interested in exploring more. So this is a great video. I'm sure you can find it online, right? It's a parody of a TED Talk, right? And I think a lot of times we think of our corporate entrepreneurs as being this guy, right? I can get up on stage, I've got a lot of great ideas, but actually, we think we should start to shift our thinking about who the corporate entrepreneur is and can be as this guy, right? This is who I like to call the out-of-your-seat kid. Maybe you were that kid, or maybe you know that kid. I was that kid. This is the kid that gets so excited about the lesson that they run up to like touch the materials. And on their report card it says, stay in your seat, right? But these kids are inspired to take action. They are the ones who will get up out of their seat and proceed, especially in the face of danger. And I bet a lot of those people are floating around your organizations.
But Megan, nothing against anyone in this room, overachievers and all, but I would imagine these people are a little tough to manage, right?
They're very hard to manage because they want to act, they want to do stuff. They're very energized, right? And so when we're thinking about how do we proceed in the face of danger, how do we do venture, I would encourage us all to seek out those people who are like naturally inspired to act. All right, next up we have, consider your organization's innovation permission structure. So what do I mean by that? Well, there are two types of freedom. I think we all probably know this, right? There's freedom from. So freedom from means that we're not putting people in a venture studio, in an innovation group and saying, hey, can you do this innovation thing, but as your like corporate side hustle? Like, can you do all your other job responsibilities and then come do innovation? Right, we're kind of giving them freedom from their kind of TPS reports. Is that a phrase people say
Does anyone
anymore?
still remember TPS reports?
Is that
Culturally relevant for
still
this
a
and
joke
only this
that I
room
can
here on the
use?
university campus. Well, Megan, it's interesting though, because when you're telling me about this freedom from,
Right.
I'm actually reflecting on this reality that everybody does set innovation to a calendar, right? A
Right.
quarter, right? Which
Right.
is sort of silly if we think about it. How fast can you generate something of the maximum value depends on sort of what your goals and your expectations are.
Exactly. So in addition to freedom from, the permission structure also needs to include freedom to, right? Freedom to looks like, how do we show people that we actually want innovation to happen here? How do we show these two people that we actually want like building and creating and making to happen here, right? We buy the stuff, we set up the room, we have the budget to make it possible. All right, so what I want us all to think about is, how do we create tangible and intangible proof for people that we want innovation to happen here? Or the converse of that might be, how are we sort of signaling to people today that we don't want innovation to happen here? And can we reverse that, right? Can we reverse some of those structures?
Okay, your favorite
All right.
image, Megan.
All right, this is, as a researcher, I love this image, right? But I have a question for you. This is another poll. Be as brutally honest as you'd like to be. What comes to mind? What comes up for you when you see this image?
We take GIFs and emojis and words.
Yeah.
Now, Megan and I come from a place where we used to work where they actually had a Frisbee team sponsored by Post-its, like the real paper dead tree Post-its.
Yeah.
That's how many we used to consume. All right, so we're starting to see, now everybody has certainly caught on to this idea. But we're seeing, obviously at the center, brainstorming and brainstorm, but we're also seeing voice of the customer, chaos.
I
is
love
maybe
chaos.
my favorite for.
Innovation theater, that's a good one.
Or great, another workshop.
Yeah, oh, thanks. Happy clappy workshops. Okay, yeah, as a person who's put these workshops on, I take the point, right? Okay, so here's what we really want you to think about. You've got ideas, right? You've all been in the workshops. You have the ideas. Now what do you do with the ideas? What venture to proceed, especially in the face of danger, means to take action on those ideas.
Yeah, well, and of course, you know, we're going to have all of this figured out by the time we leave the room. And no matter how many of the thousands of ideas, we're of course going to act on them all because all of our budgets are infinite, staring at 2023. Makes sense, right?
So I want to remind us about this diagram. It's not called the information ideation paradox. It is the information action paradox. And so, Adam, I don't know if your parents said this to me. I recently looked this up. This is a song. But I used to hear this a lot growing up, which was, do something even if it's wrong. Did anyone's parents say that to you? This was like when I was like hanging around the house bored. This is what I heard, right? Do something even if it's wrong. Now, of course, we're not advocating for making bad bets, right? But action tends to beget more action. And so even if you can kind of take that one step forward, and maybe you learn something that doesn't exactly validate your hypothesis, you're one step closer to finding the right answer, right?
Okay, now Megan, we couldn't leave our persuasion and influence backgrounds with at least us creating one social contract, which apparently some of you have already found. What we're doing now is we're signaling to you that there needs to be an intention and a commitment. So, if you will not even raise your phone or go to slido.com and type in these numbers today, I'm gonna guess this is a hard no.
Yeah.
If you're going to try something, because this is the minimum lift you're ever going to have to do in your life for innovation, all things considered.
All right, look, we got a big thumbs up. I'm happy.
Big thumbs up.
All right, so everyone giving that thumbs up, you've already done the first step, right? You've taken one action forward to innovating, right? To proceeding, especially in the face of danger.
All right, Megan, so round us out here.
All right, so what I want us all to be thinking about is what's one thing we can try right now? And crucially, this is the most important part. Who is in charge? Who are you going to point at and say, you are the one who's going to move this forward? Okay, so Adam, I don't know if you've ever heard the old joke. I'm a former theater kid.
No.
I don't know if you can figure that out. That you never perform on stage with kids or animals because they're like too cute and you'll be upstaged.
Sure. Or Sean Amorati. It's a, you know,
Exactly.
It goes too far.
Exactly. So in business settings, my joke is always that I don't like to perform with lunch, right? Because I will be upstaged by that. So we're going to stop
All right.
with our patterns. And we're going to just tell you a little bit about what we're up to with these. So we have a lot more of these patterns, and we're packaging them into something we're calling Venture in the Box for all of you.
That's right. So just to round out kind of the key actions here, because everyone's sort of starting this conversation today or hopefully soon, if not already. So first and foremost, you are more than welcome to find Megan and I anywhere around campus. You're welcome to join us anytime here in Pittsburgh. We are always happy to answer your questions, or I'm happy to give you all the resources that Megan and I have access to if you could use them. Some of those specific resources can be found in the middle here. Obviously, everyone here is familiar with CSL, part of the Swartz Center. This bottom giveaway is right off the CSL press, which is about 1,000 hours of strategic design kits that we all hosted on Miro, for those less familiar, a digital whiteboard. They're available under a Creative Commons license, meaning we are not going to charge you by the drink, by the minute, or any other visit you have otherwise with CMU. You can just download 1,000 hours of free work, which I'm embarrassed to tell you was every bit of that 1,000 hours for Megan and I putting together the fancy videos that go with it. But the most important QR code you're going to hear, at least for the rest of the morning, is this one on the right. And that is a simple form that's going to let us know you want a 10-minute, and I promise it's only a 10-minute conversation, just hear what we think we know. And if it fits, we'd love to talk a little bit about how else it could fit. If you want to talk about fellows or capstones or any other kind of commercial criteria here in and around CSL, we have a lot of really interesting ideas. We've also recognized that doing a generic venture in the box is not nearly as fun as doing something in shopping or retail or healthcare or forestry or mining or a variety of pieces. So please take a look around. Thank you very much for listening to Megan. Let's wrap it up here, Megan.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're really excited about this.